Let's start real simple.
Sounds great. My name's Jordan Jansen, and I am the lead singer of The Color.
Maybe that mountain saved my heart from the valley. Maybe that desert taught me to pray for rain. Maybe that water never parted for a reason. And you're leading me a better way.
Growing up, there's a couple things that our family spent a lot of time doing. One of them was farming. That's how my parents made a living, and then music and sports. So we spent a lot of time playing hockey in the winter, baseball in the spring, and kind of doing music. For me personally, just being a part of a worship team with my parents was a big part of my childhood from age 11 till 21.
I'm Linda Jansen, and I'm Jordan Jansen's mother.
Yep. Ken Jansen and Jordan Jansen's father. We knew that Jordan had a talent, and people would tell me, said, I know that Jordan's going to do something special. He'd do a play and when he's young, and he'd sing the lead parts, and he just had a way of, he loved the stage. Always loved the stage. Unlike some of our other kids wouldn't be that way, but he just loved interacting with people. He never was really afraid. He was 2 years old. He was like right on top of the drum kit upstairs. And I remember at 2 years old taking him and saying, okay, I'm gonna play this beat just on a snare. And then I put the sticks in his hand,
Yeah.
and he could actually play a beat, like just like,
Wow.
like do.
Yeah, it was just organic.
Yeah, so it was like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that a 2-year-old could actually do this, but
Yeah.
he was part of the group as we just progressed in the music, and it just was a passion. I could tell it was such a passion for him.
My grandparents spent a lot of time playing music. My grandfather played bass, and he loved to rock that. And then they had a family band, and their claim to fame is that they did like a cable TV show. I don't know which one it was. I think I've seen maybe footage of it one time, but as a child, my dad and his sisters and brother would tour around locally and play together with him, and they'd lead worship. And
My dad was sort of like, he was really into music. He played guitar, mouth organ, and accordion, and he dabbled in piano, and then he loved it. He was passionate about music. So when I could pick up a guitar and play it, we were playing with the family, Jansen family, so we played different places.
And then my parents had a band, and when my parents met, my mom, she sang and she started to write, and so the two of them wrote together.
We went to Bible school right out of high school, played Dutch Blitz, and yep, had a lot of fun and started talking, and actually we both liked music, so that was a connecting point. And even when we were in Bible school, we wrote a song together.
And they wrote worship music, and they started in this like 80s. Well, in the 80s, they had a Christian rock band called Sojourner, and then they did that for a long time, and then I was the first kid that came along out of that whole group, the whole band. And then it all sort of shifted, and they started doing worship events throughout Manitoba, something called Celebrate Jesus.
So we transitioned from rock music to worship music. So then we brought worship music into all the churches around here. So none of them had any kind of contemporary worship at all. We feel like we were kind of sort of trendsetter to get modern praise and worship in the churches in this area. Because nobody else was doing it, like nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was drumming with us.
I mean,
And every once in a while I get to go up there and play the bongos or something like that, but it was great. It's such a, I mean, for me and my faith journey, it's so much of it has been tied to worship, because that's been a part of my entire life, and that's how they led that by example. It was a part of what they were passionate about. It's a part of what they talked about, what they did right in front of me, and so there's a very strong association when it comes to like my relationship with God and like entering into that space of communicating and connecting with Him. It is very much so through music and worship.
I feel like I'm losing it. I feel like the end of my story, but you're in the midst of it. I've seen you do miracles for me. So maybe this is the water before it was parted. This is the spark before fire is started. This is the desert before there's a garden. I believe, 'cause we got history. Oh, you and me. I don't have to fear the future, 'cause I know what I've seen. Yeah, we got history. You're with me every step. I know that I can be fearless. So whatever happens next, I know that you'll get me through this. Good. Maybe this is the darkness before light is spoken. This is the veil before it's been broken. This is the tomb before it's been opened. I believe, 'cause we got history. Oh, you and me. I don't have to fear the future, 'cause I know what I've seen. Yeah, we got history. Been through it all with you. There's nothing you can't do. I know from what I see. Yeah, you got plans for me, yeah, 'cause we got history. Oh, you and me. I don't have to fear the future, 'cause I know what I've seen. Yeah, we got history. We got history. We got history. Yeah, we got history. When fears keep rising up, when pain keeps crashing down, when walls are pressing in and there is no way out, I need a hope that's true. I lift my eyes to you, 'cause you are bigger than the mountains I can't move. With me in the battles that I go through, whatever's trying to break me won't break you, 'cause you're bigger, stronger than the fears trying to take me out. I'm holding to the one who holds me now. No matter what I face, you've already made a way, 'cause you are bigger. You calm the fiercest storm with just a single breath. You won the victory when you defeated death. I need a hope that's true. I lift my eyes to you, 'cause you are bigger than the mountains that I can't move. With me in the battles that I go through, whatever's trying to break me won't break you, 'cause you're bigger, stronger than the fears trying to take me out. I'm holding to the one who holds me now. No matter what I face, you've already made a way, 'cause you are bigger, yeah. And nothing can stand against you. Nothing can stand against you. My fortress and my refuge. Nothing can stand against you. Nothing can stand against you. Nothing can stand against you. My fortress and my refuge. Nothing can stand against you. 'cause you are bigger than the mountains that I can't move. With me in the battles that I go through. Whatever's trying to break me won't break you, 'cause you're bigger, stronger than the beast trying to take me out. I'm holding to the one who holds me now. No matter what I face, you've already made a way, 'cause you are bigger, 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 'cause you are bigger, 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 'cause you are bigger.
So, tell me about how the color got started.
Yeah. Man, there's a long and short versions of it, but essentially, James and I got connected way back in high school. James had started a band when I was in grade 12, I believe, and just asked friends of his, like, do you know anybody who plays drums? They said, Jordan plays, he could play. And so he had written these songs, wanted to hear what they sounded like with the band, and so I joined that. So we just started playing. It was not something that was super serious. Then I entered this Manitoba Christian Talent Search. It's a big deal. And I wanted to sing, and so I did that, and then I ended up being a runner-up in that. And so through that, became the singer of the band that I was not the singer of originally. And then got the opportunity to go on tour with Amanda Falk out of high school. And so that was like the first iteration of the band where we just thought everything was going to be amazing and we're going to tour and play arenas and life was good. We saw a record contract. We thought that was as good as gold. And that didn't happen. And James ended up going away to Bible school, and I stayed at home and started doing some solo stuff on my own. The band kind of like dispersed. And then as I was doing my own solo stuff, I started putting a band together, and these are the people I know, so I got the same guys to kind of come in. And so I was doing the Jordan Jansen solo thing, and James came back from Bible school, and he started to be a part of that band. And then things really took a shift when I entered full-time youth ministry in 2009. Got married, and just prior to that, I started youth pastoring in May. And life looked so different back then. Like, at times I do feel a level of, I don't know if guilt's the right word, but my wife definitely didn't expect that this was going to be the way our life looked 12 years down the road. We were going to farm, and I was going to do music on the side and do solo stuff. And then I got an opportunity to go into that. So when that happened, then James was actually going through his own thing where he entered into a season of full-time ministry at camp, at Winkler Bible Camp. And so I was at Morden at Westside Community Church. He was at Winkler Bible Camp. And we were like, hey, we should connect. We should just stay in touch. We're both going into this together. We're young. I was 21, he's 22. And so our bosses said, hey, you guys can meet once a week. We picked Wednesday mornings, and so we would just connect and talk about what God is doing in our lives. And that season was just so important for us because not only did we get to meet and just connect a lot more, which ended up being like songwriting time, which eventually led to like our first album as The Color, but it was just good for our hearts. I mean, all the pride that we had, and I mean, we had to work through it, just understanding that if we were going to do something with a band, it had to be less about us, about our attention-seeking desires, which is very real at the time, about whatever, even the goals, like what's the end game. As much as touring arenas would still be really fun, and the moments we've gotten to be in those situations, it's awesome. That can't be the measure of success. Not only that, but like when we're writing these songs, they actually have the power to move people. And just being in that space of ministry, like, you just kind of understand that people are going through all sorts of crazy things. And what a wild thought that they can hear a song and that can be the thing, like, just keeps them going another day, like a step forward. Just waiting out the season of turmoil. And so for us, it was like, these songs have power, and we can actually do something with this. And so we started to dig in, and what started as something that was really kind of unexpected. Like, honestly, when we quit the band and went into full-time ministry, we both kind of felt like, well, that was a fun dream. We're just going to lay that aside and move on with life, and God had other plans for me.
cross is proving you can take pain and make it something you can use. Your plan, I don't understand all your plans, but every time I reach a dead end, still somehow you lead me through. So maybe that mountain saved my heart from a valley. Maybe that desert taught me to pray for rain. Maybe that water never parted for a reason, and you're leading me a better way. You see a million details only you see. I see a fraction of the grand scheme, but you have heaven's point of view. So maybe that mountain saved my heart from a valley. Maybe that desert taught me to pray for rain. Maybe that water never parted for a reason, and you're leading me a better way. You're leading me a better way. If you lead me through the fire, if you lead me through the fire, there's a reason for the flames. I will trust, I will believe that it's a better way. If you lead me into battle, then the fight is not in vain. I will trust, I will believe that it's a better way. If you lead me through the fire, there's a reason for the flames. I will trust, I will believe that it's a better way. If you lead me into battle, then the fight is not in vain. I will trust, I will believe that it's a better way. Maybe that mountain saved my heart from a valley. Maybe that desert taught me to pray for rain. Maybe that water never parted for a reason, and you're leading me a better way. Maybe that mountain saved my heart from a valley. Maybe that desert taught me to pray for rain. Maybe that water never parted for a reason, yeah. And you're leading me a better way.
Growing up in my parents' house, then before the Spica became a thing, because my grandfather built it and it was used as a grain shed, and then eventually my parents rented it out. But my crib was like right above, my room was right above their practice space in the basement in Puncooli. So I don't remember this obviously, but they would just have their practices and I'd sleep through it, and it's just like music being like pumped into my blood. Yeah.
We definitely have been apart right from the beginning. Like when we recorded that album together, it was me and him. We spent like hundreds of hours learning how to record, and you know, oh, we need to buy this because we don't have this. And we were just like spending money. We had been writing songs, and we were like helping. We were writing, sort of co-writing with him some stuff. But then all of a sudden, he really took off in his writing abilities. And I just thought, oh, he's probably a way better writer than us.
Yeah. So back in the Jordan Jansen days, then I made that record together with my dad. We produced and engineered it together, and songs that I had written and some of the songs that I had written and in part with them, with both my mom and dad. Cinderella is one of those songs.
Why that song today?
Cinderella. Okay, that one all started when we were in the kitchen.
That kitchen, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just playing some chords, and then she was like, I think you mentioned though, we should write a song about Cinderella, and sort of Cinderella being that for a lot of, specifically girls, I mean, self-image and all that stuff is really,
it's such a struggle.
It's a tough thing, and we've experienced kids, whatever, doing all kinds of like cutting and all that stuff that they just are a lot of gone through tough times and don't have good family situations or father situations. So we just wanted to write about God seeing you as something really special. Yeah,
just that you're unique and created uniquely and loved for who you are. And often people think they want to be somebody else. But it's like God just wants you to be yourself. And that's why He's created you that way. And that carries over across, you know, across so many different areas. It's not just girls, it's everybody. We all have struggles with self-image or different things.
So I just started playing it, and the words sort of started coming, and Jordan started getting the melody, and yeah, it just sort of came out that day at a moment, whatever, just when we realized, oh, this could be something special.
Right.
And so that was the first song that we released, and it really did impact people, and we got lots of feedback on it, and yeah, it was definitely the start of his career. Yeah.
And it was kind of simple and basic, and yet people could identify.
Trying to be someone you're not, trying to get out of a tough spot. You look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. Oh, you're beautiful to me. Trying hard to impress, but inside you're a mess. A masquerade you don't wanna be. Will you realize you can be free? You're my Cinderella, beautiful as you are. My Cinderella, you don't have to try so hard. I don't want you to worry, you don't have to fear. I'll always be right beside you. I'll always be here. The pressure's always getting you down. You live on the wrong side of town. You just wanna fit in. You feel like you can't win. You're trying to look like somebody else. I want you to be yourself. You're unique to me. What will it take for you to see? Yeah, you're my Cinderella, beautiful as you are. My Cinderella, you don't have to try so hard. I don't want you hard. I don't want you to worry, you don't have to fear. I'll always be right beside you. Hey, you're my Cinderella, as you are my Cinderella. You don't have to try so hard. I don't want you to worry, you don't have to fear. I'll always be right beside you. I'll always be right beside you. And I'll always be here. Yeah, I'll always be here. I'll always be here.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Well, we were actually in Orlando, and Gwendolyn and Lennon were with us. And we were sitting and we were watching, and we just were like blown away. I think everybody started screaming, and it was just like, wow.
I know, me and
We were just
Gwendolyn
ecstatic.
literally hugged each other, and I was sobbing, and so was she. It was just like, we didn't expect it, I don't think.
And I
Yeah.
really appreciated what they said when they said that their wives were the real rock star, because that's reality. You know, it's a team effort. They can't do it alone. It takes a village.
And I just remember when,
Right.
as they got married, and they'd come here, and the bus was here, and all the wives are here, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
This is hard on,
It was
it's hard on
hard.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're leaving for 3 weeks, and
The
the wives
tears,
are
the
left
prayers,
behind. And I know I've asked other like full-time musicians, and they always say, you got to be called to this, and your wife has to be
Right.
called to the ministry as well, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of sacrifice for them, and then especially when you have kids. Now you're leaving
Yes.
your kids at home, and,
Yeah.
and what is that going to look like down the
Yeah.
road?
Oh yeah, I mean, we got married at 21, so at the time we started dating, she was in grade 12. I just graduated, I guess I was 18. And we went to see Fun with Dick and Jane at the theater in December of 2005. And then started dating in January of 2006. It was our first date. We went to the Schmicka and we just hung out, and we sang worship songs together, and we just talked for hours. I think it was after we went to the movie. And so that was the significant moment. And then we just spent a lot of time in there. I mean, there's 4 kids in my family, so our house is big, but not always big enough to find that time to be alone. So we would spend a lot of time in there. And I was working on music, and it was just a spot where I would show her what I was working on. And yeah, music is just something that has always brought us together. And so I did propose there. I wrote a song that was subpar that I sang both at the proposal and then rewrote and sang at the wedding. We tried for a long time to start a family. It's something that I've shared from the stage. I guess since 2016, in November of 2016, we were kind of to the point of just, while we had been through the process of like seeking out professional help, people that know how to give you the best chances to have a baby. And so, yeah, I just felt, and it was something that took some time for her to get used to, but I just felt like so often we're kind of sharing about what's happened. We're like looking back and be like, man, I was going through this really tough time, and God did this amazing thing, and now I can say it on the other side. And I was like, man, it just doesn't feel like, why can't I talk about it now? Why can't I talk about it in the midst of it? And she said yes, and I started to speak about it. So it's been the desire of our hearts to be parents, and the idea of seeing my wife in my child, and to see me and my child in like this being that is so clearly us united in human form. It's incredible. It's so incredible, and I'm so thankful for it. And I love being a dad, and she's so spunky, and she's really wonderful. And you get to see, like you see both personalities kind of shine through. And she's 3.5 now, Lennon, and I love all of it. This last 1.5 years being home, or 2 years, has been really great to get to invest that time, and I don't take it for granted. Going back on tour could be really interesting. Even being gone for these few days, she's like crying at night when I'm gone, and she was crying this morning when she woke up and I wasn't there anymore. It's real stuff. But now we have a boy, we have a second, and along the way we miscarried 2 this past year, or past 2 years, I guess. And so, yeah, having a family has been a real awesome blessing. We say it time and time again, I mean, all of our wives have been so supportive, and as much as she didn't know that life would look this way, like, she knew I was passionate about music and always was behind me 100%. Back when I thought I was going to be a country pop artist, she was behind me, and when we switched to being a rock band, she was there behind me, and when we decided to just dig into CCM, then she was right there. And so our journey has been great. It's been full of surprises and ups and downs. She's been a rock. She is the rock in this rock band, whatever that's worth. She's both the greatest encourager, but also willing to be like, really, like, or just kind of call it out when she sees it, and I'm very thankful for that. And she just has a heart for worship, and she draws me back when I sit at the concert and I'm thinking about all the songs that they're playing, and I'm thinking about the tracks and like dissecting every piece of everything. I look over and she's just like engaged. Yeah, it's a gift, and it's a reminder of what it means to worship, and it brings me back to, I think, the purpose of it. So often I'm reminded, like, yeah, this is more than music. This is more than radio success. This is about engaging with our Creator, and she's a great example for me in that.
Like, what does success mean for a
Right.
musician? Like, maybe your role is different than being on the top Billboard or whatever. Maybe it's the hard work. You have to stay focused, and we're trying to stay focused. So, like, what is our mission? And we want to spread the gospel. Mm-hmm. We want to change people's lives and help them through hard times. I mean, so we have to stay grounded, and that's kind of been our job too. Like, this is our focus, and it's not all about success or how many plays you get or whatever, where you place on the radio. It's about connecting with people, and the real thing is when people say, you know what, I was going to commit suicide, and I heard this song, and I just decided not to. And we have so many stories that we could tell.
Yeah, I feel honored to be a part of their story. I think there's that element for sure where you feel unworthy. I mean, how could that happen? Like, sometimes you're writing a song and you feel good about it because it's got good melodies, and you're like, oh, this should, hopefully this really reaches people, or they could sing this line live. It's going to be great. We're gonna have this moment. But in terms of like lifelong impact, or like that song being the thing that carries them through the darkest of their days, like, life isn't always easy, and this isn't always easy, but we're really thankful to hear that. It's crazy, honestly.
Is it getting old? Seems like I'm always asking for a miracle. When did I become obsessed with the impossible? I don't know. When my love became conditional and I started taking you for granted. So if you didn't do another thing, still you wouldn't have to prove yourself to me. Too many times I watched you slay my giants. Too many times you stood with me through the fire. Too many times you split the seas, took dry bones and made them breathe. You are good, no circumstance can change my mind. I've seen your heart too many times. You're reminding me that the God who went before me is still in front of me. And even though I know that this is way too big for me, I know He's big enough to handle everything. I won't forget it. How can I forget it? Too many times I've watched you slay my giants. Too many times another thing. Still you would have to prove yourself to me, yeah. Too many times I watched you slay my giants. Too many times you stood with me through the fire. Too many times you split the seas, took dry bones and made them breathe. You are good, no circumstance can change my mind. I've seen your heart too many